Hello everybody and welcome to the GSPL Handmade Holiday Crafts. Today we'll be focusing on eco-friendly cards. Here are some of the supplies you will need before you get started. You will need a bucket, a bowl, some scrap paper, a blender, pieces of cardboard, some fabric and tools, and maybe a little friend to help you out. You're going to take those scrap pieces of paper you have lying around the house and shred them up and put them in a bowl. Then we are going to add water and let it soak for some time, making sure that the paper gets nice and wet. Then you're going to take those paper pieces and some of that water, put them into a blender, and blend them to a pulp. Then we're going to take our pulp mixture and put it into our bucket. The bucket has to be large enough so that our frames can fit nicely inside. It also has to be deep enough so that we can put enough water to submerge our frames. Add enough water to your bucket so you can fully submerge your frames. This isn't an exact science, but once you start doing it, you'll understand what I mean. Next is the fun part. We're going to submerge our frame tool into the water. Out comes a sheet of paper. Then we're going to put it on cardboard and damp it dry so that we get most of the excess water out. Then you leave it to dry. I wanted to add a few of these Christmas trees from the wrapping paper I got so that we could create a more festive paper. You can add anything to the water that you want, like tinsel, sparkles. Get creative. I will leave a link in the description below so that you can learn how to make your own frame tool and how you submerge it into the water. There are our sheets of paper ready to use to create some holiday cards. In the next section, I'll show you a few ways for you to create cards as well as other things like tags for your gifts. Decorating is the key from making your cards go from bland to festive. Of course, your paper making skills are now top-notch, so you could just use the paper if you want. However, you could also fold it in half to create a card. I've added some of my scrap wrapping paper as a decoration on the front of my card. But cards aren't the only thing that you can make out of this cardstock. Our programmer Katie created a really cool program last year where we made thick cardstock and then created ornaments. Another way that you can make cards without having to go through this whole paper making process is to find scrap paper that you do have lying around the house. Cut it up, turn it into a card, and make it look beautiful. Lastly, if this is too much of a process for you, there's a simpler way of making cards. If you have a bunch of old cards lying around the house that you're not doing anything with, you can use these cards to create new ones. And there you have it, several ways that you can use scrap paper lying around your house to create eco-friendly cards.